go.
All right, folks, it's Tuesday. We are on time, on our date, on our mark. It's about to go down, folks. Live with Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast Hip Hop, and my man Dusty, the Robin to my Batman. And it goes like this: from the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park, you're live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast Hip Hop. We do it like this every Tuesday, most of the time. And we're going to make it happen again today, folks. That's how we do it. This how we do it. This how it's done. What up, Doc?
Lonzo, how's your day going, man?
Man, you know what? My day is typical, dude. For a brother that's supposed to be retired, I'm busier than ever before. But I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I wouldn't have it any other way. The things I do these days are a lot more fun and engaging because I ain't got to do them.
There you go.
I don't have to do it. I ain't got to go to the meetings. I ain't got to go to nothing. I ain't do whatever I want to do is what I do, but I choose to do everything because that's just the kind of person I am.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. A lot to talk about. Shout out to the chat fam. Before you guys get nice and comfortable, make sure you hit that like button just to let the algorithm know we exist. But the first thing I wanted to talk with you about, Lonzo, did you happen to see the Yella documentary on Fox Soul?
Yeah,
that just came out about a week ago.
He sent me a link. I watched it on YouTube, man. Yeah, it was interesting. Interesting to say the least.
Okay. All right, break it down, man. What were your general thoughts before we dive into it? I have a few questions myself.
You know, it was really cool documentary. It just sometimes based on the position you're sitting in a concert, you see the same show from a different perspective. Same show, just because your seats are in a different place, you have a different perspective. And that's the only thing I have. That's the only thing I can say about it. I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's just that I'm like, did you really do that? I remember some things a little different, but it's all good.
Would you care to elaborate on something specific that caught your eye that you're like, I don't remember that happening? And once again, two different perspectives. There's your truth, his truth, and the ultimate truth. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, sometimes when we talk about making records and stuff like that, I'm the only one that ever had any real experience making records. Yella, well, I mean, we all recorded, but once the tapes were finished, I'm the one that did all the running around with the plates and the masters and about that kind of stuff like that. And all of a sudden, everybody is a record master. And I'm willing to bet you, if I gave you the maps, you still couldn't find the places you had to go to get that. And not that it's a big deal. It just sometimes like folks put on capes and shit when they don't have a cape to put on. They be turning into superheroes and shit.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about it. And if it drums up anything else, I know you're going to share your opinion on it, but I watched it and I enjoyed it just from a hip hop perspective. I know most of the story because obviously I've been doing a show with you for 6 years now or whatever. And I just love N.W.A and their history. But it seems like even to this day, even though you guys are all, on good terms, now it seems like you were always made out to have been the bad guy.
That's the part I don't understand.
Break that down.
It always seems like I beat people out of money. It was always there was some kind of money misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding was that I was balling when they met me. So I always had money. I was owner of the Eve After Dark, the most popular nightclub in the city of Los Angeles with no partners. I was a sole proprietorship on the Eve After Dark, made all the money, paid the rent, paid all the utilities. And after everybody was paid, I had a pile of money that was able to reinvest in Wreckin Cru, Crew Cut Records, and make things happen for the Wreckin Cru. And a lot of times it seems like people overestimate the success of world-class Wreckin Cru. I mean, we did good. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But we were under the Macola era, okay? And Macola did not keep books. There was no QuickBooks back in the day. There was no way to keep record of what happened. And people only look at the person in front of them. They never look at the system that we're involved in, okay? One, nobody knew what they were doing, including my black ass. I ain't know nothing about making records. I didn't know shit about shit. We were very popular in LA. Very popular in LA. And because of my relationship with Greg Mack. Yella and Dre eventually developed their own relationships with Greg Mack because they started doing the mixes. But most of the time, they didn't. Very few times did they ever go to K-Day to drop the mixes off. That was my daily job. Their job was to make the mixes. Mine was to drop them off. They never paid Greg Mack or never cut any deals with Greg Mack. So most of the stuff that was happening with World Class Wreckin Cru, Eve After Dark, Dudo, Skateland, was all done by me. When it came to the money, because I had money before, I had credit before, I had lines of credit, the whole 9 yards. I've always been financially savvy and, pretty decent with my money. So I bought a house. When they met me, I had a house. Paid for it. Already. No. Deed in hand. Okay? Paid for it. Took out a equity loan and bought the house I'm in right now before I got my record deal. When I got my record deal, at that time, I was sitting on $100,000 hard cash. Okay? I ain't got a lot to kick it. So because I already got money, I'm able to do a lot of things that most folks can't do. And because of the exposure of the records, some people thought they were entitled to more than what they really were. Nobody knew what the royalty rate was of anything. Nobody knew shit. Perfect example. When I met Swamp Dogg's daughter, Michelle, met her at Long Beach Jazz Festival. Long Beach Arena. We were doing the show with Force MDs, Rapping Duke, and some other folks. And I saw her backstage. I shot at her, knocked it down. A couple of days later, took me to the pad to meet her mom and dad. And that's my friend Lonzo. He owns the record label and blah blah blah. And Swamp Dogg asked me. He says, "What's your royalty rate?" I don't know. Who's your publisher? I don't know. What days when you get how you get paid? Monthly or quarterly or what? I don't know. This is what Swamp Dogg told his daughter in front of my face. Michelle, get this dumb motherfucker out of my house. He too dumb to be dating my goddamn daughter. That's what he told me in front of my face. I felt about that damn big. Now I'm pulling up in the BMW. Jerry curl is fluid, okay? But he told me he told her to get this dumb motherfucker out of my house. He too dumb to date my daughter, okay? And when then that is when he took me in the back room and started schooling me on the record industry. She and I broke up a couple months later. He and I are still friends today. I just talked to Swamp Dogg last week because his house is in the fire area, and I had to make sure he was okay. So, but nobody else had them lessons but me. Nobody else had time for them lessons but me. So when I see how things unfold, and people always make me out to be the villain, like with some kind of money. It was money. It was a money problem with Lonzo. It was a money problem with Ruthless. It was a money problem with Death Row. Come on, man. Come on. Everywhere folks go, there's a money problem. You ain't never heard me holler about a money problem. When you have some money and it's divided up 3 ways, it makes it always gonna make it look smaller than if it's done one way. At that time, we were dividing up money 4 ways. And because I financed everything, I got my money out first. First money in, first money out. Anybody know anything about business? That's how the game go. We don't divide up my investment and everything else inside of the division of the money. We take out the investment and then we cut up from there. Now, if you didn't have anything to invest, don't get mad. If you see me if I put up 5,000 and we get 15, I get the first 5, and I still get another 2,500 from the 10. Anybody got screwed, but if you don't understand business, you might feel some kind of way. And I remember cutting checks, and folks, I would cut checks, man, on Monday, and folks be broke on Wednesday. I remember that distinctively, but nobody talks about it. And again, everybody was young. I was 28 when we was 27, 28 doing this. Okay. That means they was in the early 20s and their teens. And I don't fault them for that, but I don't fault me for your mishandling of your money. And that's the part that is constantly, I find very frustrating. I'm always the brunt of anything that is appeared to be negative. The jackets that we wore. I bought the first one by myself. I bought the first purple jacket patterned after Prince's When Doves Cry jacket. Look at the Prince When Doves Cry jacket, and you'll see a lot of similarities in the purple Wreckin Cru jacket, the first ones we ever had made. When I bought that jacket back to Eve After Dark, I almost got my ass whooped because everybody wanted one. Everybody wanted one. Everybody wanted one. The janitors, the cashiers, the DJs, people who were just affiliated. If you passed out flyers, people wanted jackets. I went from one jacket order to like 15 or 20. I could have got more. I could have sold more, but I was thinking from the exclusive standpoint of record companies. Back then, record companies were not so much into marketing. They would let anybody wear their logos. And I did the same thing with Wreckin Cru jackets. If you didn't work at Eve After Dark, you couldn't get a jacket. That was the criteria for getting a jacket. And you had to pay for it. I didn't buy them and give them to you. It was about $75 a piece back then. They were all custom made. So as things evolved over the years, I'm like, because back in the day, man, that jacket was the most coveted thing you could own. Whether you was Dr. Dre, Lonzo, or whatever. I tell you what, nobody can find them now, not because they threw them away, somebody stole them. And the last one that existed sold in the auction for like $1,500. No, it was $2,000. The last one that existed was sold for $2,000. So they couldn't have been that damn disgusting. And these are the kind of small things I find like a rock in my shoe. It's not nothing to pitch a bitch about, but it constantly keeps pushing the narrative that I didn't do something right with the money. Okay, we didn't have a royalty rate. We got money. We made whatever the cost was to record it. I took out my cost to record it. It takes about $750 to $1,000 to make a record. I don't give a damn what you do. You got recording costs, you got plating costs, you got all this stuff. And although McCullough would cover some of that cost, at some point in time, he stopped doing that. So I had to go in there with my own money. He don't pay for studio time. He don't pay to rent drum machines. He don't pay for tape. He don't pay for none of that shit. Lonzo had to pay for all that shit. Back then, a reel of tape, a 2-inch reel of tape was $150. And sometimes you had to have 2 or 3, depending on what you're doing. Then once you leave there, you got to go get labels made. Next door, G&M Graphics. That's another $150. Then you got to have somebody design the label. Or if you have an album cover, that's a whole nother expense. Somebody got to draw it. Somebody got to lay it out. They got to give you the color sheets, the whole 9 yards. So it's a whole process that nobody knows but Lonzo. Nobody knows how to make a record from A to fucking Z but Lonzo. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Now, you go in the studio and record. That's fine. That's recording. But when it comes to making a record and the processes of from the graphics to coordinating all spell checking all that shit in the back and making sure all the pictures are done and coordinating photo shoots and connected with graphic designers, nobody did that. Nobody did that but Lonzo. And as a label owner, that was my responsibility. But just so happened, here's the problem that I realized. I had so many hats. I didn't get paid for most of them. I just got paid I got my money back. I got paid for being a group member. I didn't get paid for running sitting all over town. That was my contribution as a label owner. But if I had to hire somebody to do it, it would have came out of their damn salary. It would have came out of the recoupment. So these are the small things that these narratives that people keep pushing. That's really a rock in my shoe because aside from McCullough, I was the best thing that happened to the goddamn West Coast. Ain't nobody done as much for West Coast hip hop as I have. And I'll wait. Uncle Jam's Army, nope, didn't do what I do. They did some dances. They brought some folks out, but ain't nobody made records like I did. Nobody put as many people on as I have. I really hate sitting here have to blow my horn, but goddamn, toot toot, motherfucker, toot toot. It's really it's a damn shame you got to do this kind of shit. But again, you have to. And I was told by a publicist, if you don't refute a misnomer or a misunderstanding, it will become etched in stone, and by the time you get around to refuting it, nobody will ever believe you. So yeah, that shit is kind of fresh, and I'm refuting it right now, and I'm learning from Donald Trump's ass and people that deal with Donald Trump. When Donald Trump tell a lie, that nigga lie, motherfucker lie. They tell you right, he lying. So I'm not gonna let him. I'm not gonna sit here and let people have convenient misunderstandings and push the same narrative. And that's my only. It's not even a problem. It's like a rock in my shoe. Man, why am I always got to be the bad guy? I should be the goddamn hero for this shit. I should be the goddamn hero and not the fucking bad guy. Because ain't nobody ever had no money for no turntables, no keyboards, no drum machines, no nothing. And as opposed to saying the truth, one for Lonzo, none of us be here, they don't say that. They don't say that. And that's kind of disturbing, dude. That's really disturbing. Everybody else got it, but everybody else is a hero, but then I got this shady jacket on. Nah, man, I don't like that. That I don't like. Go ahead.
Let's talk a little bit more about it. In that documentary, you mentioned, quote, maybe a little off, but quote, "Sometimes your decisions as a boss didn't sit well with the rest of the crew." Can you explain that?
Well, man, that goes to anybody that's the head of anything, whether you're head of a household, head of a Boy Scout troop, whether you're a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Sometimes the person in charge has to do what's best for the majority. And that is what you have to do. I know damn well as a father, I made decisions that my kids didn't like. I know as a father, as a husband, you've made decisions that your wife might not care for, your kids might not care for. It's the same thing. When I have to make a decision that's going to benefit us long term, as opposed to somebody else's benefiting short term, that's how I look. I look at the group as a whole. Okay, and I did not realize until real late in our relationship, and something I didn't find out until about 3 years ago, is I was looked upon as being like a big brother as opposed to just a group leader. I never realized that. I'm the big homie, but I'm just one of the fellas. But again, as a fella, as one of the fellas that owns the house, the Wreckin Cru, the studio, I can't let y'all do anything or just do anything in my house. Y'all ain't got no houses. You don't understand the responsibilities of having a house or having a studio or having a business. If Jeffy say, Lonzo, nobody in the club past 4 o'clock in the morning, cleanup crew or not, y'all getting out of here at 3:59. Whether he in the bed or not, y'all getting the fuck up out of here at 3:59. He said 4 o'clock. Nobody after 4 o'clock, nobody could be in the club. Because what would happen? Club close up sometime early. I leave the guys in there clean up, and they having parties in the club, man. They having parties. They turn the sound system back on. They got girls in the club. I'm walking there at 6 o'clock. Club ain't clean. Ain't nobody move shit. Everybody in corner sleep. Nobody don't tell you that kind of shit. Okay, they don't tell you about that kind of shit. All right. So if Jeffy get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and see the lights, see the club still open, all right, he think Lonzo must be running someplace. He got keys. It's his joint, and he could walk in there and see girls half naked because they did shit like that. Girls half naked, running around the club trying to find their drawers and carrying on. Come on, man. That makes me look bad. So when he laid down the law, I had to back it up. I don't give a damn what you like. I don't care about you and your girls. Better go get you a motel room. So these are the kind of shits, the kind of things I had to do to maintain a relationship with that man for 40 fucking years. One thing he knew about me, I was dependable. Whether he was standing there or not, I'm gonna do what the fuck he say. Everybody don't do that, Doc. Everybody don't do that. Whether he was standing there or not, I did what he asked. Okay, I did what he asked, and he knew I was that kind of cat. I'm that responsible that no matter what, he got final say so. I got sub final say so, but you ain't got no say so. The man that owned the building and the man that's paying the rent on the building got the final say so. So therefore, and again, because and this is my own personal opinion, is that because nobody was raised with a dad, man. Nobody was raised with a dad. So I'm a dad figure, and I'm not even trying to be a dad figure. So if you're not used to being told no, or not being used to dealing with certain situations coming from a male perspective, because I'd buck up at men, fuck them, you ain't doing that. No. Now what you go? Now you feel, you might feel some kind of way because I swole up on you. But I've been bucked by 3 cats at one time. I had all 3 of them swell up on me a couple times. And come on, we do this one at a time. It's gonna be like that one at a time. Okay. That is the kind of that's the kind of attitude you have to have, because folks will try to sweat you. When they talk about when they left the crew. I'm telling the day, motherfuckers. I'm telling the day. Okay. When they left the crew, I had a manager. Before Swamp Dogg, I had a manager named Shirley. Shirley was a big girl. Okay. I like thick girls, but Shirley was a big girl. Big girl. And the reason why I was dealing with her, because she had her dad was a famous blues singer, and she claimed she got a bunch of money from him. And we figured out McCullough was ripping us off, and she claimed that she can get this money out of McCullough, blah, 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 blah. So I went to the fellas, and I never was a dictator. I'd always go diplomatic. Hey, man, I got met this lady, says she could be a manager. I need some help. Things are getting busy, blah, 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 blah. What y'all think? So they met her and her 2 sisters, I think it was. Might have been a sister and a cousin. And they're going to get pissed at my ass for telling this story right here. They're going to get pissed, but I don't give a shit because y'all don't tell the whole story. So Shirley took a liking to me. I had a girlfriend already, but I'm a player with a luxurious Jerry curl. And I had a lot of female attention. So when I go to the Long Beach Convention Center, I meet Swamp Dogg's daughter. I maneuver my current girlfriend out of position to bring Swamp Dogg's daughter to the pad, and we hang out for a minute. I take her home out to the valley. That's where I met Swamp Dogg. Well, Shirley was my manager, and she was witnessing the whole the introduction and everything to Swamp Dogg's daughter, and she got a little pissed because she had her eyes on me. Now, my current girlfriend knew something was up. I'm dumb. I ain't tripping. She said, "No, I don't trust that bitch right there. I don't trust that bitch right there. She ain't right." So, my crew decided they want to have fun. I'm gonna put it like that, very nice, with her sisters. I ain't calling no names, but ain't with 3 of them at the time. Okay, they want to have some fun. Okay, so when Shirley and I did not see eye to eye, and I'm at Swamp Dogg, I'm ready to jump regimes. I'm ready to go to Swamp Dogg. Okay, Shirley didn't want us to leave her, and her sisters didn't want to leave my boys. Okay, so Shirley came up with this big ass lie. Now, some of y'all may have heard it. Y'all may not have heard of this show back in the day. It was called Dance Fever. Dance Fever had a guy named Danny Terrio that was like a dance show. Danny Terrio was the host. My first licensing deal ever in life. First licensing deal. I got a call because I'm the publisher on Juice that Dance Fever wanted to use Juice for a final on the show. What? I'm excited. I'm thinking I'm finna get a fat one. Okay, big old fat check. Okay, they only use a song for like 20, 30 seconds, and they paid me $300. $300. Okay, while Shirley helped me negotiate the deal, she got her little 20%. But because she was pissed at me, she went back and told my boys, the Wreckin Cru, I got $300,000. She told them I got $300,000, and I had been buying property in Compton and didn't tell them shit. And these naive individuals, young, I'm not going to blame them for it. They fell for it. And they were instructed to trust her and not talk to me. She was going to hire a lawyer in Chicago to sue me. Well, anybody been in a lawsuit before, so therefore they don't know that Chicago law and California law are two different damn things. So we all here's the part that they never want to talk about. When we got our money from McCullough, McCullough gave us $25,000 for our first world-class album as an advance. Shirley was right there, and she told us, and my gullible ass too, and this is the difference between me and other folks. If I do some dumb shit, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. If we got to go under the back tires of the bus, I'm going to have tire tracks on my ass too. Me and my gullible ass, she told us that she was going to take $4,000 and go buy ads for us in Ebony and Jet magazine. And again, being a diplomat, hey man, we want to do this or not? Yeah, let's do that. So everybody want to be in the coverage, be in Jet magazine with the center of the fold of the week and whatever the case may be, next to the Jerry Cole folks, the Soft Sheen, and whatever the case may be. So we gave her the money. And right after that, that's when we fell out. Okay. She told them she wasn't gonna buy the ads. She's gonna take that $4,000 and go sue me in Chicago. But don't talk to me and don't go on tour. So I got a bus at my house, my old house, burning diesel fuel, been there all day. I done bought these guys beepers. People forget about it. I bought everybody beepers. Everybody had a beeper. Sponsored by Crew Cut Records. I'm beeping folks. Ain't nobody returning no beeps. The bus is sitting there, me and Mona Lisa and her daughter, Boss Hog, and we all trying to figure where everybody is. And it wasn't until Greg Mack called me, hey man, your boy's been down here. They a little pissed at you. For what? They think that you got a bunch of money, didn't give them none. What are you talking about? Something about dance fever. I'm like, are you bullshitting? So yeah, I'm like, huh? Are you serious? So now I got an idea what's happening. We already 2 days. It's 2 days. The bus has been sitting in my house for 2 days now. We're supposed to be in Mississippi, on the way to Mississippi already, and they ain't showed up. So I finally caught up with Dre at a party. I tracked Dre down at a party. I told Dre, I said, hey man, I told him what happened. That's a big ass lie. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, we got a show to do. You coming tonight? He said, I'll come back. I was pissed at Yella because Yella should have known better. Well, Yella, I ain't fucking with Yella. He said, Yella, Dre was true man. Hey man, if Yella don't come, I ain't coming. Fuck it, let's go. Now, clientele didn't come back. We went to the airport. We was leaving. We came to the airport. He came to the airport. He got a check from me, about $1,000, and we went on tour. We left, and we did them shows, and that was it. Then I got sued. Now people don't. I don't really talk about this, but it ain't always been peaches and cream around this motherfucker. Okay, I got sued, and I lost by default. Blah blah blah. But again, it was never the kind of the most money we made was on the road. We didn't make a lot of money off of surgery. Didn't make a lot of money off of juice, and we didn't make a lot of money off the album because as soon as we dropped the album, we got picked up by CBS. And McCullough called all the albums back in. He did a recall. So McCullough called the album, he called Juice, he called Surgery back in. And it wasn't until a year later, after we got the CBS deal, I realized McCullough had a whole warehouse full of Crew Cut and Wreckin Cru shit. Whole warehouse full of shit. I mean, whole half a warehouse just full of my shit. He called every piece we ever sold back. So that's no royalties for that shit. There's no royalties for returns. All right. At some point in time, I was able to maneuver and get some of the stuff and sell it myself, but he wasn't giving us no money. Yes, I should maybe I should have paid more money, but at that time, I'm trying to get out of debt because when I turn off the lights, the motherfucker was holding royalties from turning off the lights. He was holding royalties from house calls and CIA against the stuff he had in the garage and in the warehouse for Crew Cut Records. People forget we were dealing with a snake. They forget we were dealing with a snake. So here's the part I did not know. The son of a bitch started selling records. He started selling the records again after he called them back in, and he was still holding my money holding money for me on house calls and CIA. So there was never any money made on any of those two records. Neither one of them did that great in the first place, but the damn show wasn't no money because McCullough was holding all royalties against those two records as cross-collateralized against the first three. And it wasn't until I did Turn Off the Lights when I started have a better understanding of the record game and started I took all my shit from his ass and started redistributing it myself. Okay. By that time, they was all gone. And I hate to tell you this, I was like, fuck them. I'm sorry. I'm a 100 motherfucker. I was like, y'all left, fuck them. I didn't pay folks for shit they didn't do. Hey, I'm gone. I didn't pay I paid through the ass of this shit already. So yeah, maybe so. But again, at that time, it wasn't what people thought it was. And like I said before, we were popular in down south. We was popular in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. And we did gigs for about a year or two. We did about 18 months worth of gigs, but that was the most money we ever made. Again, McCullough didn't give us no fat ass checks. We got one fat ass check. I got a few checks from McCullough, but there's nothing that was life changing like folks think they were. I tell you what, folks will probably owe more money from Ruthless Records than anything else. Most folks probably owe more money from Ruthless Records than you ever be owed from Crew Cut. And again, same problem happened at Death Row. So I'm not the common denominator here. I'm not the common denominator. I rest my case.
Woo. If you don't know, now you know, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this content, hit that like button real quick. Let's take a little breather before we keep going. This is a great conversation, and I have a few more questions I want to get to, and we'll get to some of the questions. We'll try to get to all of them tonight, of the questions everyone has been posting, copied and paste all of them. But hit that like button if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear. Hit that subscribe button. You are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. That is Lonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. I am Dusty Vision. Let's keep it pushing, Lonzo. Hey, you mentioned Boss Hog earlier. Are you talking about the artist that ended up going by CPO Boss Hog?
No. Boss Hog
Gotcha.
was one of our managers. That's what we nicknamed him. His name is Randy Rand, but we nicknamed him Boss Hog because he always talked with his hand in front of his mouth like this. Nigga chain smoked. Teeth was brown as shit. Smelled like shit on like boiled over shit, and he always covered his mouth like that. We just named him Boss Hog.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, something else that was mentioned in that Yella documentary, which I encourage everybody to go check it out. It's a good documentary on Fox Soul. But also watch this if you want to, get. I'm gonna say the full truth. But I didn't know Battle Cat was technically a replacement member for World Class Wreckin Cru.
Yeah, Battle Cat came in. Battle Cat came in with Dre left. Battle Cat, Richie Rich.
Break down how that happened.
When I dropped Turn Off the Lights, we have never World Class, the original members of World Class Wreckin Cru and Miss Yella have never performed Turn Off the Lights together. Never. They left right after we recorded Turn Off the Lights and became gangsters. That next year, I think we dropped Turn Off the Lights in 86. 87, January 87, I got the Negro R&B Rap National Anthem. And I'm a little depressed because my house went from being like a college dorm to like a frat house to I'm an empty nester. I ain't got nobody over here. Nobody. I'm used to having 10, 15 cats in my house at all times. Studio full of guys, house with girls, a kitchen cooking and having a good time. And I'd be gone, come home with a house full of people. No bullshit. All of a sudden, I ain't got nobody here. They gone. And I went into a little state of depression, dude, on the 100, keeping it 100. Nobody came by. Nobody came to holler at me. Nobody did shit. It was just over with. And Jerry Heller, by this time, Jerry Heller was my manager. He was also managing N.W.A. And he was, hey man, what you gonna do? I got the number one. I got a top 10 record. I ain't gonna sit there and lie. It's number one. It's number one some places, but I got a top 10 record. In some places, a top 5 record. And I don't want to do any gigs. I ain't got no crew. None. What am I do? Man, Jerry called. Hey man, I got 2 gigs for you and so 5,000 each. I don't want to do it, man. Call back a couple of days, man. I got 2 gigs on so 7,500 each. Man, I don't want to do it. I'm actually turning down money. This is no bullshit. I'm that depressed. I'm turning down money. And Jerry says, hey man, what the fuck you gonna do? You gonna sit here and suck your life away and miss all this? I missed about $40,000 worth of gigs before I got up off my ass and decided to get put together a crew. And I put the word out, I'm looking for a DJ. And Battle Cat was one of the cats that came here. Him and Richie Rich. And Richie Rich, y'all pray for him. My man's in the hospital right now. Hopefully he'll be all right, but he's dealing with some issues. But yeah, Richie Rich joined the crew. And if you look on the back of my Fast Lane album, you'll see you might not recognize him because the motherfucker was so skinny. You might not recognize him. He was so skinny. He's throwing up a crep sign, but he was so skinny. Okay. And when Battle Cat, he'll tell you in my documentary, I have a documentary coming out on the same program. You Will Not Erase Me on Fox Soul. Mine don't come out until February. I'm like the last one. But Battle Cat will tell you the story of how he and I connected and how he had to apologize to me because he had a misunderstanding about the music business as well. And he didn't know. He was mad too. But he'll tell you how he came to his senses. The day he did his interview, he came over here and apologized to me on camera. Anyway, Battle Cat was like 17. He was like 17, and his mom told he can go, but he gotta stay in your room. He gotta stay with you. And I was like walking a cat. Shit. You ever seen anybody walk a cat? Have you ever seen a cat on the leash in your life? Okay. You ain't never seen nobody put a cat on the goddamn leash and walk it no place. And that was trying to keep Battle Cat in the room. Okay. I never forget one. Huh?
Oh, no, keep going.
I never forget one night we was on the road and we had a hotel. The hotel was full of people. And Battle Cat disappeared. I saw him. I said, Battle Cat, what's happening? All Battle Cat had on some white Dunty Doves on the beeper. Nigga, where you going? I got it, Lonzo. Don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it. All he had on was a pair of white BBDs and a goddamn beeper. I'm like, nigga, I ain't mad. I'm going to bed. Okay. True story. I ain't got a lot of kick it. Okay. That's one of my nicer stories. I got some other ones with me and him. Oh my God. I won't even tell him. I won't tell them because they are just too far out there. But yes, he came and joined the crew for a while. And I got his first record. His first record I did called DJ in Effect on Crew Records. Okay. He he produced it, scratched it, the whole 9 yards. And, then he decided he wanted to move on as a producer. I don't stand in people's way, man. I'm not a gatekeeper like that, dude. I'm not a gatekeeper. My studio has been a pathway to dozens of guys, man. If you come through here and develop your skills and go out and make it, just show me some love. That's all I ask for. Give me my money while you're here and show me some love. That's all. I never asked for nothing more than that, man. And that's the part that's kind of disheartening when if you've done so much for so many people and they always find one thing that's a common, and it's always a common thread that I'm like, Negro, when did your record sell? You heard it on the radio because I got Greg Mack to play it because it was on Crew Cut. We had that kind of relationship because you're no hell of an artist. I got you in stores because I had other records in stores. I had relationships with store owners. But not that shit's in my garage right now. Miss me with the bullshit. And that's the part nobody wants to cop to. It's always somebody. That's why I never would be a manager. That's why I've done as much as I've done in the record industry. I've never wanted to be a manager.
Yeah.
One thing I learned about being a manager, when the artist has success, it's all about them. Oh, I'm the shit. I'm the baddest son of a bitch in the world. I need a golden mic. I need to put a golden mic stand on my ass so I can sit on my and like the goddamn what's that Captain Morgan. Okay. But when the problem is somebody, I mean, my management is fucked up, my label is fucked up. No, man, that shit was whack. That shit was whack. I supported you because I let you do what you do. I gave you creative control, but that was your decision. Man up. Same thing here when it comes to the jacket. That was a decision. I created those jackets. I wore it with pride. I would never talk about them jackets, but because somebody clowned you in a movie, all of a sudden, that was Lonzo's idea. No, man, that was our idea. Yes, it was my time, but y'all loved it at that time. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. I don't understand it. Stand on 100, man. Stand on your business. I'm a real dude. I have my word, man. Whether it's a threat or a promise, I'm gonna keep it no matter what it is. Threat or promise, I'm gonna keep it. If I tell you to whoop your ass, you got an ass whooping coming. If I tell you I'm gonna pay you, you got a payday coming. Figure out which one it's gonna be.
Hey, in the documentary, Yella mentioned the members of N.W.A. got together in your studio to discuss forming a group. They talked about the image, etc. The group obviously ended up becoming N.W.A. But during that meeting, someone said, quote, "This is going to be like selling your soul." To which one of the group members replied, "Shit, I'll sell my soul." Yella went on to say he wouldn't disclose which N.W.A. member said that. Knowing all of the members better than anyone back then, if you had to guess which member said they would sell their soul, who would you guess?
I ain't got to guess. I was standing right there. I ain't got to guess. I was standing right there.
Well, I love this show.
All I'm gonna say is, who got the most money? If you go,
wait, that's hard because Cube and Eazy were Andrew. Wait, hold on. Keep. Wait. Okay, I'm with you. No.
Cube wasn't there. Cube came after. Cube didn't join N.W.A. till like almost 6-8 months after it was formed. He was not on the ground. He was here and he left and came back. Okay, he was here for Eazy stuff. Went to college and came back. By the time he got back, they was already doing shit. That's when he rejoined them. But if you go to a documentary that I was in called Welcome to Death Row, I said the same thing. When I was in Welcome to Death Row, there's this. If you watch the documentaries, I didn't realize that documentary is almost 25 years old. I did that back in the 90s, man. I did it back in the 90s, and I looked a lot different because I think I might have been clean shaven back then. Head looked bigger than some bitch. They was talking about this same situation. This is when Death Row was cracking, and I got tricked into doing this documentary. I got tricked. They called me talking about doing a documentary on West Coast hip hop, and at that time, the publicist for that documentary was a friend of mine, Edna Sims. She called me one day. Says, "Hey, Lonzo, I'd like to come to the movie premiere." "What movie?" "Hip hop movie. Welcome to Death Row." "I'm probably going to see that. Why don't we? You're in it, huh?" "I ain't did no Welcome to Death Row documentary." "I don't know what to tell you, but you're the first thing we see." And sure enough, when I saw the documentary, I'm the first thing you see. First thing you see is my ass. And in that documentary, about 3/4 of the way through, I make a statement. I said, he told me he sell his soul for the devil, and the devil got a receipt for his ass. And they cut right to should. You got to see. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
That's right. I remember that now. That was a good question. Let's see. Let's get to some of the audience questions. Jesse Garcia, did Lonzo meet Eazy-E's parents before?
Nope. Nope. I met his mom at Easy Street. I never met his dad.
That's right.
I met his dad and his mom a year ago at Easy Street. First time I ever laid eyes on the lady. She seemed like a very nice lady. I know she had slowed down a little bit, but I heard a lot about her. But that was my first time meeting her.
Vista Light says, Lonzo, would you have done anything different? I'm sure it wasn't all unicorns and rainbows. If you could go back, what advice would you give a 16-year-old Lonzo?
You know what, man? I get asked this a lot of times, and I think about 16-year-old Lonzo versus 67-year-old Lonzo. The 16-year-old Lonzo that saw, first of all, 16-year-old Lonzo still wouldn't have been a gangster rapper, because 16-year-old Lonzo's daddy would have fucked him up. 16-year-old Lonzo, 22-year-old Lonzo, my daddy died when I was 37, 38. Okay. The influence I received based on my life, I can't speak for nobody else. Based on my life, I'm blessed as all outdoors. And I know, yeah, I'm sitting here doing a podcast that makes me a few dollars a month as opposed to billions and whatever the case may be. But, dude, and for most people, as I'm going to say, it sounds stupid as fuck, but I'm glad to be me, man. I don't have the money that folks have. I don't have the notoriety, but I can go where I want to. Ain't nobody looking to do nothing wrong to me. I love that shit. My grandkids are not objects of kidnapped. I can go where I want to, wearing a hoodie. I ain't got to wear no security guards. Yes, I would love some more money, but I wouldn't want to be in the 6x9 cell either. I wouldn't want to be in a grave at 20 some odd years old. I never wanted to look over my shoulder as a grown ass man. You know, as much as y'all love Snoop, y'all found a reason to hate on Snoop. Cuban's probably the most successful, non-controversial person, but as long as he's doing movies and rapping, ain't no controversy. When you start speaking out, you got controversy. No, if he's not trying to speak out on politics, everybody love him. But as soon as he starts speaking on politics, he got problems. I would have told Lonzo the same thing. A 16-year-old Lonzo, the same thing my daddy told me when I was 16 years old. Keep your head on straight and don't be a goddamn follower. Don't be a follower, be a leader. Yeah, again, like I said, I ain't got the money, but I still got my house. I got my health. Dude, people don't understand, man. People don't understand when you start looking at them 60s and 70s and you still can do most of the shit you did when you was 40 and 30 and 25, just a little bit slower. That's a blessing. I mean, you can't buy that shit. I'm sorry. You can't buy it. You can't buy it. I ain't never had no stroke. I ain't never had no aneurysm. I take one pill a day for blood pressure, dude. I still walk 2 or 3 miles every other day. I still get my freak on when I want to. Come on, man. Come on, Doc. Come on, man. I still get to make love to a woman. I ain't got to worry about no. Think about this, man. Whole lot of folks that had big ass houses traded them in for sales, man. Whole lot of folks had millions of dollars, traded them in for graveyards. Come on, dude. Y'all got to understand what value really is, man. People still don't understand what value or life really is about. It ain't about getting rich and dying at 30 years old, 25 years old. It ain't about that, dude. It's not about that. And if you do, thank God you're still alive. Because hopefully you'll realize it's definitely more to it than some paychecks and some ass. I just seen plenty of paychecks and plenty of ass. I'll take what I'm doing right now over anything else. I'm sorry.
There it is, man. That's game right there, folks. Grown ass man enlightenment.
Grown ass.
Let's see. Dre G Rock wants to know: did Dr. Dre produce Cabbage Patch Dance?
He produced it. Cube wrote it.
Was that a big record? I remember wasn't there another Cabbage Patch song also?
It was, but we had the funky one. We had the one that was banging. But again, that record was on the House Calls EP. Got caught up in fucking Macola bullshit. That record didn't leave California. House Calls didn't leave California, dude. House Calls, CIA, Greg Mack played it, and a few other people played it because it was Wreckin Cru, but it didn't give us no real traction like Turn Off the Lights and Lovers. Of all the records I've ever made in my life, Turn Off the Lights and then Turn Off the Lights and then Lovers got me more traction than anything I've ever done in my life. Those two records got me more money, more gigs, and more recognition than any other thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Explain how much easier or harder it was to buy a house in the 80s like you did. That's a big deal to own your home, and to not only that, pay it off cash. You know, how easier or harder? I don't know if it was even harder. Was it versus today? Because I know today it's hardest for anybody to buy a house, especially in California.
My first house I got from my mom and dad. I grew up in that house. My mom died when I was 19. So me and my sisters and brothers inherited her half of the house. And when Eve After Dark blew up, I'm sitting on 50, 60 racks at this time. I cash in the house. Cash in the house in a safe. I ain't going nowhere no time soon. I didn't go to the movies. I didn't go outside. But nobody knew I had it. Not even my girlfriend knew I had it. So, so now, I got to find a way to get rid of some of this money. So I bought my brothers and sisters out. Now, here the house was worth $40,000. I already had $5,000 in equity because of my share. So I needed 15 racks to buy my brothers and sister out, my brother, my two sisters out. So I did that. I gave them $5,000 apiece, bought them out. So now me and my dad own the house together. I'm on the deed. So then I decided I got another 20. I had some more money. Now I'm balling. I'm telling you, dude, the Eve After Dark was a financial phenomenon for me. I went from making minimum wage to making damn near $30,000 a month. Okay, I'm not bullshitting. I ain't got to lie to kick it. So now I had all this money at a short period of time. I paid the house off, bought me a car. I bought me a 240Z, paid off the house. I still got about 20, 30 racks still sitting aside. And the club kept on balling. So I got another 20 racks. I wouldn't pay my daddy off. I paid Pops off. Once I paid him off, I went to the bank and got a line of credit for $45,000 on the house. Because now I'm trying to build my credit now. I got a house paid for. Now I to liquidate, and I'd have all that cash, but I still got access to money. I went and got I got a $45,000 line of credit on my house. So by this time, it's almost, we're negotiating our record deal for CBS. So I get another lump sum. So now here's my partner don't remember me doing this. When I had my equity line of credit, they told me you can't buy a single family home. You have to buy some type of other property. So what I did is I gave my boy Edwin $20,000 for my home equity line of credit. He gave me back a check from Music People. This is the same people that backed Uncle Jam's Army. So all we did was I got a check from him, put it in my account. So if they look, oh, I made $20,000. It was my own damn money. Okay. So the house only cost me $100,000. Cost me $125,000, but the owner carried back $25,000 because it was actually over the going rate at that time. This house is bigger than most houses in this area. And no house has a studio. If anybody knows about real estate, house, you have to have, just because you got a pool. If everybody ain't got a pool, you can't get credit for the pool. He the only one had a big old studio He couldn't get credit for it. He wanted credit for it, so we worked out a deal. I was going to finance 100,000. He was going to carry back 25,000 paper, and I was going to refinance it in 2 years and pay him off. That's what I did. So now to get the house, I needed 20 racks. I gave Edwin the 20 racks. He gave me back a check, took it to the mortgage company. I'm in a house, 20 racks. House note, $600 a month. 600.
Yeah. Wow.
My dad thought I was crazy. Your house note is how much money? 600. Well, rent at that time in the nice apartments,
Couple hundred probably, right?
Was 400. If you lived in the rain trees, that's why I wanted to go to the rain trees in Carson. I mean, in Culver City, that was the spot because my house in Carson had been broken into a couple of times. So I was trying to get out of the hood. But I was going to go to either Carson or Culver City. It was $450, and that wasn't shit. But 600, and it's my house just outside the neighborhood I grew up in. Shit, that wasn't bad. But my daddy's house note was like $175. He's like, nigga, 600. I'm telling you right now, if shit go bad, I can help you with that. I said, I got it. That's kind of dude, man. Hey, I love you, son, but shit, 600. I can't fade that one. So that was it was a lot easier, man. And like I said, I had two houses. They met me. I had houses already. They met me. Everybody, and people forget my status in the community. I was already a young baller. I opened an Eve at the Dark at 22. So by 24, I was a baller. And didn't know I had money, didn't know what to do with it. Literally didn't know what to do with it.
That's a problem I want to have. Let's see how many questions we can squeeze in the next 3 minutes here. Let's see. JG wants to know if you've seen the hip hop documentary Microphone Check. If so, what was your opinion?
I haven't seen it yet. I'll watch it now about it.
Yeah. Definitely, I would highly suggest it. It's a really good one. Let's see. This may be a tough question to answer. Who was your favorite person to work with? Be it performer, group member, producer, someone you vibed really well with? Who was your favorite person? If you can even pick a person, who was it to work with?
Cool Mo D.
Break that down. I don't think we've heard that one.
Well, me and Mo D hooked up at Jack the Rapper back in the day, man. It was funny. The lady who I was trying to smash, she liked dark-skinned dudes, okay? And I've never been a gatekeeper. She was fine as fuck. She's 60-something years old, still fine to this day. And she was like, you cool, but I like him. I like, who him? Cool Mo D. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. So I didn't know him at the time. I walked over to him, introduced myself, introduced him to her. And then he was so cool. He was like, man, good looking out because she's fine. She was a gorgeous girl, okay? I just wasn't her type. And my records wasn't selling as big as his was. So I just went on the introduction, and we stayed cool, and we talk all the time. He called me on my birthday. I talked to him all the time, man. And we did a couple of shows together also. That helped out. But, yeah, he was one of the coolest cats that I've ever dealt with, man.
Cool Mo D, man. Legend. Looks like we only have a minute or so, a couple more minutes. Any last words? Anything coming up you want to promote, Lonzo?
I'll be in San Diego Friday for my film festival. We're in the San Diego Film Festival in La Jolla. I'm going to be up there Friday afternoon, Friday evening, supporting that event. And then still working on this community garden here in the city of Compton. And just doing what I do, man. Just doing what I do.
That's what's up. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and you like what you hear. And I encourage everybody to check out all of our old videos. We have a lot of great interviews. We have a lot of great topics. Just, go down the line, man. We have probably over 1,000 videos now on this channel. So please make sure you definitely do that. Go to the archives. It really helps. And definitely tell a friend. And check out my channel as well, Dusty Vision TV, right here on YouTube. Anything else, Lonzo, or you want to hit them with the outro?
No, I want to say this right here. Folks, understand this. Like I said before, in any story, depending on where you sit at, you can be watching the same movie, the same play. Depending on where you sit at, you have a different perspective. Just remember that I ain't mad at nobody. I love them all still, but I got a different perspective. Being a boss, I'm flying high. I'm up there with the clouds. I'm the one making the decision. I'm the one with the decision makers, and it's real hard to see people either minimize your position or want to equalize themselves with you. And at that time, but no equal, baby, but no equal. So before I go, folks, for those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until he got cold on the eve after dark, 50-yard line to Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe the Hollywood bullshit because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than most of y'all will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for Not Without Alonzo. Much love, y'all. Peace.